So this is the way you used to come down?
Yeah, we would. It's the way we always went. Go up here past that chain link fence and bust that fucking left. The 2300 Arena, formerly known as Viking Hall, the ECW Arena, and the CZW Arena, along with many other promotions that have run here, like 3PW, XPW, Pro Wrestling Unplugged. You know, I mean, that's just a few. There's probably a few more that's been in here. But wow, how it's really changed over the years. As you can see where they filled in what used to be the doorway right here. They filled it in with brick. Matter of fact, I believe this was here, but there was a door here and a door here. So you know, you went in, they came down. You know what I mean? They were the metal ones. They closed. Yeah. So my very first time here was Cage of Death 3, December 2001. We actually parked right out here, me and Delaware Mike, and you went in right there. Where the glass is down here, there's a door right here. Come follow me. I don't know if it's exactly here, but I think this is where the door was. There was just a door here, and that was it. And it went straight into the back side of the arena. When you went in, you were right over there where the food court, where the food and stuff was. But yeah, this is all new here. There's somebody in the back, but wow, how it's changed over the years. Foreman Mills used to be right next door. You could go in here, there was a clothing store inside, and you could get Philadelphia Eagles jerseys, you know, all yours like City Trend type clothing. You could get it right here. Amazing. I mean, they really changed it up a lot here, but this place holds a lot of memories for me. I actually got the opportunity to wrestle in this building, and I never thought I was ever going to do that. I really didn't. I did not think in a million years, after coming to my first CZW show in December of 2001, that one day I would actually put on boots and get inside this building and get inside the ring and actually wrestle in here. There's some pretty good matches that I've been involved in inside this building, and I think the most memorable one for me has got to be me, the Messiah from XPW, the Necro Butcher, and myself in the three-way dance at 7 Years and Strong. That was a good show. It was a stormy night. Lots of snow was falling. Pretty much like a little blizzard was going on. And the show still went on. I mean, it didn't get canceled, and fucking people showed up. You know what I mean? And they came here because it was Combat Zone, and you didn't want to miss it. And they were already advertising that three-way match between me, the Messiah, and Necro on the internet. You know what I mean? So it still drew a pretty good crowd. We'll take a walk around the back. All right.
Before we go, do you remember? I don't know if you remember. There was as a fan, there was like a garage here, and we would when they had the Ultraviolet Underground, we would look through the hole and see the matches. You know, as they
you can peek in. Yeah, like in the back. This is also where the Mummers Parade costumes and floats are made. Is also inside this building. It was a bingo hall through the 80s and into the 90s and the early 2000s. And then I believe after maybe 2001 or 2002, there wasn't no bingo going on in here anymore that I can recall. I don't know for sure, but I think they might have pulled out. I mean, all the tables were here. They had stacks and stacks of those wooden tables inside because they laid them all out for bingo. You know what I mean? So when wrestling shows took place here, you know, whatever tables they fucked up, Heyman would go ahead and pay for those tables. So if they broke fucking 8 of them, you know what I mean, then he paid for 8 tables. And back then, a fucking table was probably 50, 60 bucks for a table, even if it was that much back then, compared to like $100 now for one of those wooden tables. But yeah, this holds a lot of memories in my mind. You know what I mean? Coming here, I remember when we would pick up RVD back in the ECW days. We'd pull right up here, and all the fans would be lined up down this wall. He would get out, get his luggage out of the vehicle, and walk through that door. And this is how they went in. If they didn't come into the back parking lot, they pulled up right front, and this just went right through the door. So, pretty cool. We'll take a walk around the back. Let's see what we got in the back. Okay, so we found the door. I now see exactly where the door was. When they would get out the cars, they would go straight through this door and they would go inside. It's been filled up. Wow, pretty crazy, man. I got some goosebumps. You know what I mean? I really do. I got some goosebumps standing here. It's pretty crazy. I can remember Trent Acid and Teddy Hart. I mean, they had a big match out here. You know what I mean? Where they had a white car, which was the car that Teddy Hart and his friend traveled in, which was also another wrestler. And they did like a power bomb or a few moves on top of that fucking car right here on this side street. They had it just sitting right out here. So they'd bail out of the fucking doors, fight right out here into the street, and the fucking crowd would come out. The whole fucking crowd would come out, just be all out here in the street. And just absolutely going nuts. The same way, the same thing happened when the invasion took place with Ring of Honor and CZW right here in the building. I was there that night when BJ Whitmer got taped to the ropes and John sprayed CZW over top of the ROH logo in the ring. We all came out wearing yellow shirts with CZW on the front. The locker room unloaded, ROH locker room unloaded. And it was a big fucking brawl all the way out here and all the way down the sidewalk into the back parking lot. We're gonna take a walk back here.
Now, what was your first thought? You know, when you got booked, you knew you were wrestling at the arena.
I just couldn't believe it because Necro had told me, God, I wish I could remember what was the first match that I did with CZW here. I know it was probably not 7 years and strong. Then again, it might have been 7 years and strong. But yeah, just the overwhelming, the feeling that you have when you're told you lace your boots up, you're in a match inside Viking Hall. It's like the ECW arena, CZW arena. It's a historical landmark right here for professional wrestling, especially Extreme Championship Wrestling. I mean, they were in this building from 1983 or 1993, 94, I think, was when they first came in, when it was just Todd Gordon. This is prior to Heyman coming along. And I think 94, I think Heyman came in. They had only ran a few shows in this place before Heyman came in. And then when Heyman came in, man, it just exploded. It just took off. He brought in a lot of the WCW people. You had Shane Douglas here, which was Dean Douglas when he was in WWE, and then he left and he came here. I mean, I'm a little foggy in the brain, you know what I mean? If I say something that it might not be correct, I'm pretty sure you fans out there will correct it in the comment section below. Let's take a little walk down here.
Now with Combat Zone Wrestling, I just had Zandig do a convention here, and I confirmed with him because I heard some rumors that they were going to do the Cage of Death 4 spot, him and Lobo. They were going to do a spot from up here.
Off of the freeway?
Off the freeway to the ground. And they went against it because they said it would be too much time and they would have to...
Yeah, they'd have to go way up there. Even if the best thing to do was to pull it off right here on the side. Here. So this is the area about where Lobo was hung from the roof. Not around his neck. It was like pretty much all wrapped up around his arms and shit like that. But they had him hanging off the side of the building here.
And we were throwing water balloons at him.
I would love to see that footage of that, man. That was like historical. But anyway, there was a female. I'm wanting to say her name was Allison Danger.
Allison Danger.
Was that the girl or something? There was a chick that just hit me with a milk crate that night, right out here. She popped me with a fucking milk crate because there were milk crates laying out here. She hit me with a milk crate, and then, like I said, the whole ROH CZW crew fought down this sidewalk into this back parking lot. This back door right here, it was normally opened up in the evenings and shit, and even during the show, they would have it opened up because there's no AC in the joint. So they wanted to get a little bit of airflow flowing through here. So they opened up that one door on one side, and they would open up this door and then have security all standing here so nobody could try to sneak into the arena. But yeah, it got very, very hot in there. No air conditioning until years later, you know what I mean? And then, wow, I ain't seen back here in a long time. I remember a lot of the fans would actually park out here. Sabu would park his camper right there, about where that truck is. I mean, that car and that van, the truck is right there. He'd park his mobile home camper right there. And yeah, then we would pull in, go back here. Let's see what we got back here. A long time. Really, totally like, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Oh my God. The promos that were cut over here with the Dudleys back in the ECW era, they would come out here and do their promos at nighttime against that garage, against that blue door right there. They would just park up on them steps over there and they would cut their promos outside. But a lot of memories in this parking lot. Look, it's up against the wall. We got a steel chair sitting right there. So, come in, we all park, all the wrestlers and shit park, we all hang out here and kick it with each other. That's new, but that is the door where we went in. There were just steps right there. You just walked up the steps, and there was just double doors that opened up, and you went on inside, right into the locker room. So we got some chairs, we got guardrails laying over here. I'm just wondering if these guardrails might have a little bit of history to them. There's a turnbuckle. No, that's a sandbag. That's railing and chairs. Yo, I guarantee you, there's been many wrestlers thrown up against this. I guarantee these are the same railings that they used to have in there around the ring when I wrestled in the joint. Wow, man. I've seen some shit out here.
So any fun party stories you could share? People watching out here?
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, there's just so many. I mean, you figure once a month you were here. You know what I mean? So it was like, you know, you're seeing your family. I mean, as far as stories, no really horror stories, but, you know, just a parking lot full of family, you know, like a brotherhood. You know, we all stood out here because only the wrestlers pulled back in here, you know what I mean? And anybody that brought a wrestler here, you pulled back into here. They had security over there by the gate. You weren't just going to come back in here, you know, as a fan. But before this concrete area was built, they just had a set of steps right here. And this is the area where the Dudleys would shoot their promos with signed guy right up against that door. Before this was even built, it was just, you could pull a vehicle in, you know what I mean? And you can actually unload whatever you needed to unload right here. But this is pretty cool right here. And man, it'd be nice if we could get in. I've seen some fights break out here. I would tell you a few things that happened out here in this parking lot, but I'll just keep that out. You know, I don't want to say what I've seen out here as far as physical altercations taking place between wrestlers and girlfriends. I've seen some crazy shit out here.
Yeah, I remember CZW.
It's just crazy. I ain't been here in many years. I have not been in this parking lot in many fucking years. So this is pretty cool. These people in these houses back here, the Briscoes would always park. I think on the other side of that fence is where they would park the vehicle, or it might have been just right in here somewhere. I can't recall whether or not these things were here. I don't know. Yeah, they were here. Yeah. They were just a different color. They've been here for many But anyway, yeah, the Mark and Jay Briscoe, their dad, Papa Briscoe, would park the vehicle over here, and they would sit on the tailgate. They were young kids, 18 and 17 years old, I think, at the time. And, you know, I think here in Philadelphia, they wore masks because one of them was under the age, he couldn't legally wrestle. So with the mask on, the commission and shit really didn't care too much for it. I mean, you know, when you got Papa Briscoe saying, my boys will wrestle at their own risk, we ain't gonna sue no one if they get hurt. That's what it was. But yeah, very, very historic. What I like about it is they haven't painted the back of this. This still looks like it did when I came here. And only the front's been painted all black with 2300 on it. This is it. Except for that wall being built over there, everything from there is all good except for the bricks that's been put up. I can't recall if there was ever a door right there like that, but I can tell that they've pieced in something. I just can't remember. I would have to go look at old footage if anybody had any videos out here, you know what I mean? There is one where me and Steve C actually did the promo about Tournament of Death 1. It took place right here where Lobo pulled up in the blue Dodge Durango, and when he came out, I got into frame. I was geared up in my gear, and he was like, oh shit, the big boss man. You remember he said that? And I was like, yeah, I get that a lot, but you know, I'm the Hellaware assassin. And then Steve C comes into frame with this big ass Japanese thorn bush in his hand. And we talked to Lobo about TOD and that we were here to help him do whatever we had to do to eliminate John Zandig. You know what I mean? Because, you know, that was the big deal. At that time, you know, Lobo and John were doing the whole battle over the owner of the company, you know what I mean? You know, and so I think that even led up to their match where, you know, Zandig ends up reaching up and pulling the envelope down, and now he's, you know, back to being owner of the company and all that shit. But it was fun, man. Had a lot of fun here. It's really crazy that a lot of, you know, I mean, there's just a lot of good memories here, man.
A lot of history here.
A lot of history here. I mean, I remember, like I said, I was coming here like 1997, 98, up until 1999, and then I left in 2000, and it wasn't long after that when ECW was done, you know what I mean? And then, you know, the boys all went into the WWE, and some went to WCW. But to see Benoit out here, Dean Malenko out here, Eddie Guerrero out here, Devon and Bubba Ray, you know what I mean? Francine, matter of fact, Jason Knight, myself, and Delaware Mike just sit right over here by the A, parked over here in a little rental car, drinking some beers. Joey Styles, you know, of course he was the voice of ECW back then. He would come out, you know, and put his shit in the car and talk to him. Francine, the first time she ever met me, she told me I looked like Violent J. And I was like, well, my name is Jay, and I can be violent. But yeah, I had a good time out here, man. I mean, thanks for bringing me up, man. This is pretty cool. It's been many years since I've been here.
Thank you.
Many years, a lot of shows, a lot of memories. So I hope you guys enjoyed, you know, what little bit of story I could tell. Devin Moore was just here, but he's in a hurry. He had to get on back to where he's got to go. I guess he might have to do some work or something. He had something he had to do. So we didn't get the opportunity to have Devin Moore standing here talking to you just like I'm talking to you. But, you know, there's a good possibility that he might end up at a show where I'm going to be at one day in the near future. So maybe we can do another video one day with him, and we can talk more about some Combat Zone wrestling. But I'm glad that I came up here, man. Thank you very much, Justin, for asking me to come up here. Is there any other questions you want to ask me about?
Thank you for the history, man.
Hey, man, I try to do the best I can.
You know, a lot of
brain's a little foggy. I've been in the heat, you know what I mean? So, but there's a lot of cool memories here. A lot of superstars, you know, born out of this building, man. I mean, you know, Ring of Honor. I remember being in that locker room, and Teddy Hart was rolling up a blunt. And Gabe said, hey, man, you can't be sitting in the locker room rolling up a blunt. And he said, motherfucker, I'm Teddy Hart, and I'll roll up a fucking blunt wherever I want to roll up a blunt, and I'll smoke it in here if I want to smoke it in here. And when I first heard him say that, I said, wow, that boy got some stroke, you know what I mean? Because Gabe turned away, and he walked away. He ain't say nothing else to him, because Teddy probably would have fucked him up. But, that's basically it, man. So like I said, thanks for bringing me up here, man. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to go ahead and speak to your audience, and then let them know I had a great time here, man. Nothing to be ashamed of. I had a blast working here for Pro Wrestling Unplugged, CZW. Had a great time. And the Pro Wrestling Unplugged stuff was pretty good, too. If you have never seen them matches, you know what I mean? Justin's got one with me, Corporal Robinson, and Ian Rotten, but there's me and Brandon Prophet, and there's a singles match between me and Cork. Now, that was a pretty good one, too. But the one between me and Brandon Prophet, packed house that night, a lot of people in here. I went over, I pinned, Brandon Prophet, and won the match. And there was going to be big things happening for me in Pro Wrestling Unplugged. I got more love from them than what I really did from Mr. John Zandig at the time. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, thank you very much, man. Deeply appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
We're in the back parking lot. Talk to you.
He's got a surprise. He said he's got a surprise for the Necro Butcher.
And I told you again, I don't even know who this surprise is.
Is there ever a day in the life of Necro Butcher that's not a surprise?
Hellaware assassin!
These people are going nuts.
I said it before. I wouldn't let Lobo in here if it was up to me. He brings in too much violence, and there's no one more violent than the Hellaware assassin. If there's any man that Necro Butcher could look at as an equal in the realm of death matches, in the realm of hardcore, it could be this man, the Hellaware assassin, who has absolutely no regard for his own body.
I think it's safe to say this is a dream match, as in Hellaware Assassin is going to dream about the days when he could walk, when he could talk, when he could shit his pants.